We have two different ways that PowerShell commands can be added to PowerShell, by either by you or by a writer, that is to say a software writer, or by a piece of software. So they are the snap-in and the module. Now the snap-in is the old technology. This was PowerShell 2 and earlier. This is why we said that if you have a Windows 7 machine and it has PowerShell 2 on it, that it is not adequate for this class. It's simply because we do not use snap-ins any longer. We use modules, and this was the big thing that made PowerShell 3 and on so much different and so much better. So the older technology was snap-ins. Now I'm not going to go into great detail about these things. I'll just show you a few commands and a few ideas about it. First of all, what are snap-ins? Well, they are a set of DLL or XML files for configuration. They have to be installed. That is to say, we have to add the DLL and the XML files to the file system in the correct place, and we're not going to go into where that is. And then they have to be registered. By registered, we mean that they are referenced in the Windows registry. And there's a set of techniques that you have to go through to register these things. And again, we're not going to get into that because that's beyond the scope of this class. Let's take a look at the snap-ins that are available to the current shell. That is to say, to the current session of the shell. So I'm going to go over here to PowerShell, do a clear screen, and let's do a get PS snap-in. And we have one. We have the Microsoft PowerShell core. This is the set of commands that is available to this particular session of PowerShell. If I close it and reopen it, of course I'll get the same one again, but if I had other snap-ins, they would disappear, and this is the only one that is available to this current session. Now I do have some others that are registered. Let's take a look at those. We're going to go get PS snap-in and then the parameter registered. So I have two snap-ins that are registered. Now you wonder why this one, Microsoft PowerShell.core, is not registered. Well, this one's an exception. This is the kernel. This is the heart of PowerShell right here, and it always becomes part of the session, and it does not need to be registered, so this one is an exception. But I do have two others available to me, and if I wanted to get these, I could add them. Now, I'm not going to actually do it, but I will tell you about the command, and the command is add PS snap-in. I would say add PS snap-in, and then I would have to go to where these exist in the file system, these two, and add them, and then they would become part of the current PS snap-ins. So you're likely to find more registered ones than you are actual snap-ins. Why? Because PS snap-in tells you the ones that are currently loaded in the current session of PowerShell, and the registered ones are those that are available. They are referenced in the registry, and they are available to load into the current shell. So that is how we use that. Now, if you wanted to see the commands, the providers, the drives, all of those things that are added by a particular snap-in, you could use those commands that we've seen before. Get command, get PS provider, get PS drive, in order to see them. And it is true, snap-ins can add any of those. It can add commands, they can add providers, and they can add drives. So that is the basics of the snap-in.